My name is Marilyn. This is my story about dealing with pelvic organ prolapse. I think I really started around 2018 that I noticed it. And I probably had some before, but never really thought about it but as it dropped a little more and was more protruding, you could tell that something wasn't right. So I went to a doctor at that time. And the doctor I wasn't comfortable with, so I went there and I didn't want to go back. So then from there on, I kind of dealt with it for the next 5 years before I found Dr. Molden. I really didn't have a lot of symptoms. It didn't bother me that much. The only thing is, obviously you could feel it. And, it was uncomfortable when you'd sit down and get up. You could feel it. And then when you get up, it would drop again. When you sit down, it kind of recedes. And the time that it bothered me the most was always in the summer because I like being in the pool. And it seemed like the pool water was very irritating. Well, when I went to the doctors in Allentown, they fitted me for a pessary. And it does work. And I tried that. But then I found out when they called me back that I was going to have to go back to them every 3 months to be checked. And when I heard I had to go back up there every 3 months, I didn't want to go. So I really just stopped using the pessary and just didn't do anything else. Well, in about late March or early April this year, I noticed some blood, some spotting. So I thought, it's time to do something about this because, I wasn't sure what that meant, and also it had dropped considerably. So it was really protruding, plus the blood. That made me think, it's time to do something. Well, I just was scared and I didn't know really why, but I was. The surgery itself, I wasn't that afraid of, just the anesthesia, and it turned out to be not as bad as I thought. The actual surgery day, believe it or not, for as panicky as I had been, I wasn't quite as nervous as I thought. So we drove down, it's about an hour to get there. I had to be at the hospital at 6:15. They checked me in and then took me over and told me to, put a gown on, get in bed and get ready. And it was amazing. A kind of calmness came over me, which I didn't have for the last 2 months. And the anesthesiologist stopped in to see me and talked to me and questioned me. Then another young woman came in. I would think she was probably helping Dr. Molden. And then finally, Dr. Molden came in, and I had that shower, like the cap you put over your hair, lying on my lap. And she said to me, "You're going to have to put that on because you and I have to match when we go in there." So anyway, all of a sudden they came to take me down to the room, and I really couldn't see that much in there. It was kind of dark. All I heard someone said to me, "You're going to have to move yourself to the table because there's a sticky pad on it and we can't slide you over." So all I heard is, "That's great." And I didn't know anything else until I woke up, I don't even know, I guess about 3 or 4 hours later. The first 2 weeks they weren't that bad. I never really had very much pain. I only needed Advil at the most. One thing I'd say to anybody, that you have to have a doctor who you trust and are very confident in. And from the time I met Dr. Molden, I've only seen her a few times, but she just makes you feel so comfortable that you really, it's just so much different than the other place I went. So the best advice I can give anyone is look for a doctor that you really can feel comfortable with.